Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being at this event. It's going to be a historic night. Now, my remarks are going to be brief because, as Hans said, you didn't come out here to hear me. My name is Matt Windschitl. I am the Majority Leader of the Iowa House. I come from deep red, western Iowa, and I've been in the Iowa House for 17 years now. So let me tell you why my wife and I made the decision to endorse Governor DeSantis and do so early on. When we first made the decision to run for public office back 17 years ago, we were looking at our children. Well, at that point, it was just our oldest daughter. Our second one came during the first year I was in office. But we were looking at the future for our children. And we knew that we needed to try and make a difference. And so we made the decision to try and make the world a better, brighter place for our kids by being in public service. Well, this year, as we looked at the large slate of candidates that are out there, we looked at what's going on in our country, we looked at what's going on globally. We knew we needed a leader that was going to be focused on the future for our children, our grandchildren, focused on us and what this country needs. And there was one candidate that stood out above the rest, one candidate that made promises, kept those promises, and has demonstrated that he is out there fighting for your freedoms, your individual liberties, and stands on constitutional principles. One man that is looking forward, not behind. That's Governor Ron DeSantis, and that's why my wife and I made the decision to endorse him. Now, the other thing that's important, in this race, Governor DeSantis is the only candidate that has worn a uniform serving our country. And as a Marine Corps veteran myself, I find that immensely important as we look at what's happening across our world. We need someone that has put on that uniform and has served our country honorably. There's no other question in my mind. Governor DeSantis is the right person at the right time that can lead this country forward, can lead this world forward, and can make America the best it possibly can for our children and our grandchildren. So next up, as I close up my remarks here, I'm going to welcome to the stage a fellow conservative colleague, a rock star in the state Senate, Senate President Amy Sinclair. Come on up.
Somewhere. We'll see if I stick to them. You guys want me to stick to them, otherwise we might wander a bit. What an exciting night. What an exciting night we have here. As Representative Windschitl, as Matt said, I'm Amy Sinclair. I am the Iowa Senate President, and I'm the state co-chair for Ron DeSantis. And I'll be honest, even just a year ago, I would not have imagined myself getting involved in the presidential primary process at all. So many people have asked me, that's why I'm here tonight. So many people have asked me why I chose to get involved, why I chose Governor DeSantis, and why I endorsed him so early on. The answer is pretty simple. He's the best candidate for the job. As Matt described, when I started looking at the field of candidates, and it's a broad field of candidates, we've got some great candidates out there, but when I started looking at that field of candidates, I knew I wanted someone who was looking to America's future and not constantly caught up in the past. I knew I wanted someone with a proven track record of accomplishing the hard things, not constantly caving to criticism. I knew I wanted someone who knows about getting elected in a tough contest, who's not constantly blaming others for the failure. Governor Ron DeSantis is all those things and so much more. So much more. Let's talk about that. When we look at his accomplishments and compare them with what Matt and I and all the other legislators, and all the other legislators here tonight and across the state of Iowa, the things that we've done to move Iowa forward, Governor DeSantis' record looks a lot like ours. Do you all think we've done a good job moving Iowa in the right direction? Florida took on the nanny state who wanted to ignore science and shut down our nation. Iowa and Florida stayed open for business. And the economies of both our states are strong. Both Iowa and Florida pushed back on the narrative the kids would be just fine missing a few months of school, missing out on their educations. Iowa and Florida were the first to say no more. Kids need to be in their classrooms learning. The test scores prove we were right. We were right not to cave to fear. Both Iowa and Florida fought for the rights of parents to choose the best way and the best place to educate their children. We made our public classrooms transparent, and we opened up options for families, and the rankings now have Florida as number one for the second year in a row, number one best state for education. I'm so excited. I'm on a roll. Bear with me a little bit longer. Both Iowa and Florida said government spending's out of control. Taxes are too high. Both Iowa and Florida cut taxes and kept our budgets balanced. It's working out for Iowans and it's working for Floridians, and it should work for our nation. Both Iowa and Florida said girls shouldn't compete against boys in their athletics, and they shouldn't have to share their private spaces. We said no. We said no more. Our girls deserve better, and we're going to do what it takes to keep them safe. Both Iowa and Florida said children shouldn't be subjected to irreversible consequences of sex change treatments. It's no different than saying no to tattooing a 17-year-old or saying no to selling alcohol to a high school kid. It's no different. And Iowa and Florida both regulated the practice of doctors medically transitioning minors till these kids are at least old enough to be able to legally consent to the consequences. Both Iowa and Florida have proven that we can stop the decline of our American society if we push back on the swampy political establishment, and we stop speaking in the language of the politically correct, and we reject the nonsense that is woke ideology. So you ask me again tonight, why do you support Ron DeSantis? Well, he has proven that he will never back down. When the fight for our nation is at hand, as he did in Florida, he will fulfill every single promise he's making to you. He will fulfill every single promise for our nation. He has proven that he can beat Joe Biden, just as he turned Florida red in 4 short years. And he's proven that he has a plan to restore our economy and secure our borders and focus our military and law enforcement on mission first. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to stand up here before you as an unrepentant supporter of the governor of the great state of Florida and the next president of the United States of America, Ron DeSantis.